Record. Welcome to Naked, the podcast about authenticity, where we talk about a topic that is different each time because it's unscripted, unfiltered, and uncut. And we got some great topics in the last weeks, going from travel learnings and being into action and not having a day that goes as it is supposed to be, or that kind of things. How are you doing, Matt?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm good. I would love if someday I would wake up and I would have a good internet, nobody in the Airbnb except me. So I could do a 1 hour recording podcast without any flaws. But that day hasn't come yet. And you, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I finally went to do something that I love, which is one of my activities. Generally, it's the summer, but like in Barcelona, it's kind of now. It's golfing. I did that this weekend. It was really cool.
Oh.
It was really, really cool to
Oh,
go
man,
back.
I haven't golfed in a while.
To go back on the golf is just it's just amazing. So yeah, no, that was cool. New was the weekend expedition again.
I didn't know that you were a golfer at all.
See, yes, since Quebec, I'm honest.
Oh yeah,
I'm honest. In Quebec.
you started to play in Quebec.
Yeah, it's funny those activities that, depending on the country, it's kind of as a link with what we talked last week, which is funny.
Yeah.
It's this kind of activity that, depending on the country, the culture is different and it's not seen the same way. So, for example, in France, golf is like kind of high society. Like when you talk that you're playing golf, it's clubs and all that, and it's really like elite kind of stuff. And when I arrived in Quebec, I was working at at Fujitsu, and I got some colleagues, and colleagues were like, "Yeah, we're gonna you want to come with us? We're gonna play golf." And I was like, "What?" I mean, it's like you don't. In my, it's like you don't fit the.
Are you part of a secret society and I don't know about, or
and it was super. They were younger than me. They were like 3 or 4 years younger than me, or something like that. So I was like, there is something that doesn't work there. And so we went to play golf, and we went to for driving range first at University Laval, and then we went to play like 9 holes, my first 9 holes, and it was like, yeah, you can come dressed up as you want, like shorts and sneakers, and it didn't matter. It's like, it's cool. So it's super laid back here, and yeah, that's the main difference for me. And yeah, this is where I discovered golf.
That's amazing. I love golf. I used to play. I would say like for 3 years, I played more intensively in the summer with one of my friends. I had my own bags and clubs and everything. And yeah, I really do enjoy playing golf. So that's one thing we're going to do when we're going to finally be in person and see each other in person.
That would be great.
Yeah, I hope you play tennis because I want to play tennis. That's my main sport.
But
I do like golf.
I played in Quebec like those sports that for me in France were like seen in a certain part of society. So like squash, golf, like boats and all that. It's just like this is like it's almost like the list in France of there is only like the people from high society or in Paris that are playing that. But to be fair, when I played golf in Canada, I remember this time where we were invited to this place, which was a PGA golf course or whatever. And so we arrived there, and we were invited there. And it's when you arrive, you see the difference from the normal golf course. And you go there, and it's like, okay, you go inside the dressing room, the change room, and everything is in wood and all that. You have the names of the people, and you arrive. And so this is when I was a consultant, so obviously dressed up in a suit, with my city shoes and everything. And I'm taking like one of the lockers, And the guy said to me, "Oh yeah, leave your shoes outside." And I was like, "I'm not gonna leave my shoes outside. They're gonna get stolen." So my design, no, leave your shoes outside. We take care of it. And I was like, "You took care of it, okay?" So everybody leaves their shoes outside their locker, so that's okay. And you prepare, you go play, with your golf shoes and everything. So obviously the green is pristine, everything is beautiful. Like it's like all the grass is like super green, like fresh from the morning, like almost like just water. And you come back to the dressing room at the thing, and basically the guy took your shoes and shine them, and everything, and put it back in a little bag. And you're like, what is that? And so then afterwards, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take a shower, and they give you a towel and everything, even if you don't have a towel, and you have everything, perfumes and all that. And while you're taking a shower, the guy took your golf shoes and remove all the scrap in it and clean them, and he brought you back in a little bag. And this is the first time I was like, oh, so this is what rich people. This is for rich people. I get it now. Okay. Everything is handled for them. I get it. I like that.
Who would not like that? Like every little thing that you don't want to do are done by someone else. Like, okay.
That's the thing. And then you're like, and it's funny because we were having the discussion with someone like today at work, and it was like, oh, now you understand why when something doesn't work for them, like they don't know what to do, or they're like super, super pissed or anything, because it's just that, usually there is someone that does that for me, and now there is nobody that does that for me. So yeah.
Well, this week it's me who's gonna say that, and I thought about something when you were talking, and I know what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about abundance, and we're gonna talk about how we view like rich people as evil in society, and like how for us it's like, oh no, you should not have like uh, people that works for you, like not slaves, but like I don't know you call them, but but anyway, everything around that, I because it made me think of me here. I have this cleaning lady that comes, well, whenever we want her to come. Like sometimes it's every week, every 2 weeks, and I think we've been 6 months in Mexico now, and we haven't cleaned a single thing by ourselves. And the main reason is it's so cheap here that life is so different. You pay 100 pesos, the cleaning lady, and for her, like she's happy to get 100 pesos because she just worked an hour to clean our place. It's a small place. But for us, it's $5. So split between me and Jimmy is like $2 every week to have our place pristine clean. so I feel I was just thinking about how in different setup you can feel poor, and in different setup you can feel rich. And one of the first time, because for me abundance is a really big topic in my life in the past year, past year I would say. And I really had a shift in that mindset toward abundance and bringing abundance into your life. And that shift from the first real time, and I will ask you the question after. The first real time that I felt rich was when I went to Nicaragua with my friend Jean-Mich. And for me, it was the first travel in a country that is really poor. If you compare it to, let's say, Canada, whatever. So the power of your money is really, really high. Like it's probably 5 times cheaper, if not more. So, and with my friend, we said like, look, we're 3 weeks there. And Jean-Michel, he's a guy that is abundant, and he's like, I work my ass off all year, and when I travel, I want to do everything I want. And when I go to these poorer country, if I want a fucking sweet, I'm gonna get a sweet. Like I want to feel, I want to have fun, and like, so me, it was my first trip doing that, and we arrived there, and I did not understand how cheap it was. So we started the trip and we're going places, and I was like, wow, okay, I don't I I don't have not a lot of money, but my money, it's like I have 5 times what I brought here in my mind. So I really start to feel like we were rich. Like everywhere we're just like take taxis, pay, like tip people. Yeah, for me, like for some people it's normal, but me, I come like from a, I would say, poor middle class mindset, family and village and everything. And it was like the first time that I really felt like, okay, that's what it is to just pay your way into freedom, into like people doing everything for you. And I mean, there's no way you cannot find it better, because like, let's just be honest, like that's a bullshit moment. People that say like, oh no, money cannot buy happiness. Okay, let's say two things. First, I do believe that happiness comes from the inside. That's for sure. That's a given. But if you can just pay someone to clean your room, have someone scrub your golf shoe while you're in the shower, or like, or just do anything with money, or like pay the same amount that you would have a normal little room in Quebec, and with that same amount you have a suite in Nicaragua, like why would you not want that? Like it's impossible. It's so, it's way more fun. Like it's new experiences, it's easy, like it's simple, it's freedom and everything. And then like on top of that, like a little story in my story, on top of that, we go with a friend that we meet there that's also from Quebec, and he bring us to the casino of of Managua, Nicaragua, to play a poker on a poker table. And we play for 6 hours, and I totally killed the table. It was all really rich people that were there. It was like really high stake. And I killed people, and I think I get out with like 2,500 US at the end of the night, and the guy are just like even on their money. And I was already feeling abundant, and this money come to me, and I'm like, oh my God, like this trip's gonna be fucking crazy awesome. And then I can tell you, at the end of the trip, I had nothing left of that 2,500, but the memories and everything that we did together. So all that to say that for me was the first time that I felt rich. And I can tell you, it's a good feeling, like, because it's not just rich in money. It's like rich in, it's hard to explain. Like sometimes we talk about abundance and it's large, like it's a large concept. Uh, for me, it was not just about money. It was richness of experience, richness of, uh, also of generosity, because I felt that I could be way more generous because I had way more, and I would not care at all. And with my normal generosity, that who I am, instead of giving like a little tip here and there, I would just give a big tip, and people would be happy. I would get more smiles. Like everything was happier with abundance of money. Um, so yeah, first I wanted to ask you after that, when's your first moment that you felt really rich in life? Because I'm sure you have one. I'm sure you've climbed like the ladder of
Yeah, yeah,
feeling
yeah, yeah.
maybe broke, or
I think really early, to be honest. What I mean by really early in my adult life, obviously, it was when I go to Tunisia. We went into a trip for like 4 days, in a, it's one of those trips that you do from France that are, it's normal in Europe to do that because it's next door. So you go for 4 days, like a last minute deal a bit. Like people go to the Caribbean or to from Canada or the US because it's close, so it's exactly the same thing. And we went to Tunisia, and we were in a hotel room and all that, and so we had some, don't remember the money there, but it's we had like some change and everything, and we were like, what are we gonna do with that change? We're not gonna go back to the, and we just left it, and the guy that that cleaned our room, because we believe that our room was really clean compared to other people from what they say. The guy was so happy. He stayed like with us for like, 30 minutes or 1 hour talking and everything, saying what, and it's just that it's almost like we changed his life, It's like we just gave him our change. And because for us, it was like more, and this is where it's funny because we didn't do it in a way like we want to give him a tip, so you say, but it was also like an inconvenience for us to have this change and to come back with it to France. It was almost like we were getting rid of something, but someone with a thing that we're getting rid of, someone like it's like we change his life. And this is where it's crazy because obviously we wanted to give something, but we had there was no scale in our head on how much we were giving. So what I mean, for us, I think we were thinking we were cheap because we were just giving change. For this person, it was his day, or it was maybe his week. And we don't even know that, And this is where it was crazy. Second time, and this is where I felt the power. It's kind of, for me it's a power. This is how I will relate to it, and it's a power of money, I will say, in a certain way, because here we talk about abundance, about money, but I will talk about other stuff obviously. It was when I was in Quebec. So there, all the waiter, you pay for everything, right? In Quebec, US and Quebec, you pay for everything. This is what you notice. You take a cab, you pay, you tip. You order a drink, you pay, you tip. You go to a restaurant, you tip. Everything that you do, you pay for it. Everything is a transaction, so everything you pay for it. Where, in France, it's not necessarily seen the same way because not only everything is included, so you never tip. So which is where people have some trouble with that. And so I remember that day when I was at the club, and it was really annoying, to go to the bar and everything. But there was this waiter, that seemed nice and everything. And I said to him, like, look, we're going to do something. I'm taking like whiskey and Diet Coke. And basically each time you see my glass empty, I want a new one. And here is $20. And each time I will pay you for each one. And the guy was like, no problem. He was like, yeah, great. I'm going to do that. And the guy, like, all night, and I continue to tip him, on top of it. So not only he had a $20, but on top of it he had the other tip that I gave him. And this is where I find it was crazy, because it was like I get a premium service where I don't need to move almost to get a drink, and the guy like brought me drinks all night, So yeah, it's.
I love this story.
It's the two things. And then this is where I start noticing that, with those experiences. So first one, you're right, is that for you, it means nothing maybe, but that's the thing. You have a power that to put a little bit more, to tip a little bit more in certain places, like you can change people's life. Like maybe you're going to do their week, salaries. You don't know how they are paid, the condition. When you go to another country, you think that they have the same condition as us. And what you notice is that it's not necessarily true, and they're not necessarily paid as much as you think that, for example, waiters are paid in our countries. And so just to tip a different way, it's money that they can put in their pocket directly, and it change, everything for them. So that's the first thing. And it's true that this gives you a nice feeling. But even if I believe that in everything that we said, there is always this thinking, and like there is nothing that is just given like of pure. I don't think pure charity as its term exists. I still believe that you do also something for you. So as you said, you're giving to those people because you can. So that's kind of your power. But at the same time, you get this warm feeling, that they're super happy about it.
Oh yeah, everything, like it's an exchange. So it's not a one, like even a donation is not a one-way thing. It's an exchange. I would not say it's selfish, because in a way it's totally the opposite of that. It's just a combination of your desire.
Yeah.
Well, it's mainly selfish in a way, because that's your desire. Even if you give, that's your desire to give. It's gonna have a double impact. It's going to have an impact on you and on the receiver, but it's still your desire to give. So, and yes, and I don't think it's wrong at all. I think it's normal, because everything in life is a two-way thing, is a relation
Yeah, it's a transaction.
between
Yeah.
something. It's a transaction. So and I really liked your point about that it's a power, and I really do believe that's a power. And because in fact money is just an amplificator.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you're an asshole, you're gonna be the king of the assholes. If you are a really generous person, a kind person, and you get abundance in your life and get a lot of money, I could bet that you would be even more generous, that you would have even more good impact. It's just it really just amplify what you already are, because it's a power that gives you more reach, that expand who you are. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tool. That's the only thing. And I really like that analogy of being a power. And the more you look at everything in life, you know that everything works and revolves around money. So when you have money, you can have the power to go through that game because you have this power.
So that's the thing. Yes and no. And I'm going to tell you why. So, like if we come back to my story at the beginning, that you see that, for example, golfing is this way, right? And I went to Canada and I see it another way, where golfing was like, everybody was golfing. You can golf in shorts, in flip-flops, doesn't matter. Now we come back to Europe, right? Where golf is still seen a certain way. So we were having this discussion this weekend. When you see people golf, you're already an image of a type of people that it is. Suddenly, you come to a discussion with people and you say you golf. People will have exactly the same apprehension in their mind, and they'll be like, he golfs? And suddenly, like, they have this, the image they had of you change, right away change. It's almost like you're saying that you're selling, or you have a boat, or you do selling. Maybe it's, it's not a question about how much it costs, or you're doing your horse riding. You have a horse and you're doing horse riding. It's also seen a certain way. Having a horse is kind of a luxury thing. And this is a second power I want to talk about, because people make assumptions, a lot of assumptions on the way people are. So for example, I went this weekend and we were doing a 9 holes because it's beginning of the season. And I was in jeans, sneakers, t-shirt, like I rented my golf clubs because my golf clubs are in London. And we are in the course and we're two, and there is two people that comes with us, them full equipped, and I said, look, it's our first time, that she's playing golf. So, it's okay. And we're like, yeah, we're fine and everything. And he's like, okay, go first. And I think in his head, he was seeing me and he was like, yeah, this guy doesn't know how to play golf or anything. And so I do my first shot, which is a par three, and my first shot goes on the green directly, perfect shot, the green. And my first hole, I do it on par. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure this person, like his mentality changed right away. And he was like, okay, no, this guy knows how to play. Why is he dressed like that? It doesn't make any sense. And after that, at the restaurant just next door, it was like, oh, you play golf? Oh, you play golf? Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. There were some people who talk to us, oh, you play golf? Oh, cool. Why? And, they're like, it's almost like in their head, they're trying to fit you into a mental model. And suddenly, it doesn't fit right away. So they're putting you right away in the other mental model they know, which is, these guys must be someone that I don't know about. Yeah. So that's the other power I talk about, because this is amazing. This is amazing. So I don't know if you felt that.
Yeah, can you explain the like, put a name on like the other power you're talking about?
I don't know if I can put a name on it. We say in
just
French,
to make sure I understand correctly.
We say in French, l'habit ne fait pas le moine, which means that the way you're dressed doesn't mean who you are, right? But I believe it does. Yeah. I believe it does, because everybody has a certain, image of a type of people. And if they see people in a suit, they're going to imagine that this guy has a good job and everything, because it's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe there is a way to gain that power and to get an edge on kind of society, on kind of people, wherever you're coming from. It doesn't matter if you're middle class or poor class. If you play golf, people will look at you differently. They don't know your past. They don't know anything about you. They will look at you differently. It's like the mental image that they're making of you is changing completely. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And this opens a lot of doors. This opens so many doors. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And when you were talking, you made me think of a story of a friend. We talked last week, and that's exactly what it is. How people have an image of you because of what you have or what they can see of you. And my friend, basically, my friend decided last year. I think he just had like a connection. That he basically had an fucking amazing deal on a big Land Rover, like super badass, like all black with like black wheels and like a really badass, nice truck. And he was riding a really shit car, like a really, really shit car before. But he loves cars. So it's a set of circumstances that finally he bought. He said, "Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna go and not take that deal." And so he took that car. So he rode it like last year, just at the end of the summer, and he was always telling me like, "I feel so badass in that car," and and then. I'm not sure if he used it this winter or whatever, but then now it's the spring in Quebec and he put back his black wheels on it. And my friend is like, he doesn't give a fuck. He just like, he has his old sports shoes with his like jogging pants and his hunter's vest. Like, so he just go like, you just imagine like you see that car arriving at the grocery store and you're like, oh wow, that looked like a coke dealer or something. And then the guy just just get out of the car and he's dressed like a hobo almost, and like he doesn't have any hair and he really doesn't give a fuck about anything. And people are like, yeah, that's definitely a coke dealer. Like you cannot be like, if you don't give a fuck like that and you have money like that, you're like, there's definitely something doesn't add up. And he was telling me, he's like, seriously, like everyone look at me like I'm some fucking criminal or badass because I have this car and I dress like a hobo and I just don't give a shit. And he said, you would not believe what happened to me. Basically, on the North Coast where we come from, there's a super small village that's like the hub of the coke dealing and the Hells Angel and everything. So everybody knows that when you go on the road, and that's the little village where like no, like even the police really doesn't really go there. And he said, when I got out of the boat, the Tadoussac boat, there's a police that started following me, and she followed me for an hour right until the crossing of that little village. And when she saw that I was not turning there, she dropped. And he was telling me, I think she really thought I was a coke dealer with my truck or something. And the dude is like, he works at the government behind an office. Like he's so far from that. But just because of the truck, the opinion of people, just what they think about what he is so different of the reality. So that's exactly what you were talking about. That's so funny. And he laughs about that because he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, that's so funny, like how people look at me. And they all think I'm really rich because I have that, but I'm not at all. And
but you said something that was really interesting also that made me think. Like you said, you know, like having this car like makes me feel so badass. And suddenly like, okay, and I want to come back to this thing about abundance. Do you believe that abundance is coming from you and the way you feel? And so I believe that this is yes, but do you think it can be tricked by activities or cars that makes you feel badass? And secondly, do you feel that I mean, and yeah, secondly, do you feel that it can come from however people perceive you?
Oh man, for me, that's a really good question. And I really believe that I found the answer to that, and I found how to bring abundance into your life. So first, you know that I believe that you create your reality, and you
Mm-hmm.
know that I believe that we are, this world is all about energy, and you attract and you repulse different thing depending on your energy. And yes, the law of attraction is real, the law of cause and effect is real. So if you take that into my view, and basically it's just how you think and how you feel that will make you get more or less abundance. And I'm going to explain to you. So let's say that I'm sat in this room, and I look around me, and I say, oh man, I feel that this room is so small. Well, and like I kind of feel trapped. Like I feel this room is small. So the more I think about the room that is small, I will feel trapped, and that feeling of being trapped will just get higher and higher, because it's a wheel. So you think that it's small, you feel more trapped. Because you feel more trapped, you see more that it's small, so you feel more trapped. And like, but it's just a point of view, because I can just sit there and say, wow, that room is so big. It's the same exact room. But I say, oh, that room is so big. And then I look around me, and because I feel the room is big, I feel that I can breathe. I feel free. Like I feel, and then the more I feel like that, the more I really see like, wow, like that's so big where I am. I feel I have space. Like there's, and then this feeling of expansion start in me, and it's the same wheel but going the other way. I feel that it's big, so I feel more free, more expanding. Because I feel that, I see even more how it's big. Do you see the analogy that I'm doing right now?
So
So
you're doing the analogy with my first question, which is
yes, because when you use that analogy and you bring it to abundance, it's the exact same thing.
yeah.
If you look at your phone and you say, oh, that phone, my phone here is like the Samsung S7. Okay, I think they're now at S21. Like,
I
I
just
could
want to
I
say
could
that we are not paid for advertising.
no, we're not. And so no, we're not yet. So so that phone, I look at it and I'm like, oh man, I'm so poor. I cannot afford the S21 and the new model. This model is like 5 years old, and I feel so poor, and I feel so. I start by my thoughts. I start thinking about that, and I'm generating emotion inside of me of feeling poor. So the poorer I feel, I'm gonna look even more around me, and then I'm gonna look like, oh man, my socks are all with holes in it, and like I'm gonna find proof everywhere that I'm poor, because I just started this process of thinking that I'm poor, that I'm not abundant, that I don't have enough because I cannot pay myself a new phone. Okay, that's just a thought. Now let's do the same exercise with the same exact phone. But then I look at it and I'm like, look at this beautiful piece of technology. Okay. Not only I have the S7, but like there was 7 generation before that. This is 7 generation better than the S1. Okay. And I can do so many things with that phone. I feel so rich to be able to possess at first that phone, and to have clothes on me, and to be have a roof on my head. I feel so abundant. I have everything that I need. I have this phone and it's so amazing. And like, so the more abundant I will feel and the more rich I will feel because I can have that, then I will look around me and I'll be like, oh man, these curtains, they look so good. Like I'm so happy that I can have nice curtain in my place. And then, oh, look at these flowers. Those flowers are so beautiful. And like, I can offer myself flowers. Like I feel, and then I will just feel more abundant and see more of the abundance that's around me. And I am sat in the exact same room. I have the exact same phone in my hand, but I can have two narratives that are absolutely opposite and just with my thought.
Okay, but if I push your thinking,
yeah, go for it.
It doesn't matter that you're a materialist, because it's being a bit materialistic, no, to attach a certain value to objects, right?
I'm not sure I get your point. Continue.
Okay, giving you an example, right? First car that I bought for the first time, new car. For the first time, I bought a new car. I had different choices, but since I'm pretty high, you know, I don't have many choices because I touch the ceiling. Anyway, I was between the Golf and the Subaru hatchback anyway. And I went for the Subaru. I'm going to explain also why. Because in my head, the Subaru was a rally car, so which is amazing. You can do rally with this car. It has a 4-wheel drive and all that. Like it's you know, for me it was amazing in my head, right? So just having this car, it was a new car. So, you know, I'm attaching a value to a material thing that makes me obviously feel better and feel like a badass on the road. And this is where I'm like, is it bad to be materialistic a little bit to feel abundant, or it's okay?
Well, first things first, I don't believe in that materialistic bullshit, because anything that's physical is a material. And even the clothes on you, you want to have nice clothes, oh, you're materialistic. You want to have you want to have a new toothbrush, well, that's material. Like you matter. If you don't want to be materialistic, just be naked, go in nature, and maybe even there we can argue that a tree is some material.
So can I just stop you a second?
Yeah,
I was really not expecting that answer from you. Hey, man, I always see you, like, people have to understand that, like, I always see you like this, you know, Zen Buddhist guy, you know, like all these things that the Buddhist says, like, you know, materialistic is not good. You should be a, you know, whatever they say. And suddenly you're like, you come out to this, I'm like, damn, I'm again discovering him. That's amazing. I love that. Sorry, I cut you. You can go back.
No, I feel you. And in fact, it's my mindset evolved a lot over the years. And now so to understand where I come from, yeah, I have to say that the premise to all that is that now I've realized that life is only about experiences. And since I see things now at the level of energy and at the level of experiences and of vibration, then everything is that. So even yourself as a flesh and bone, you are at this level, your energy, and you live experiences every day. So basically in my lifetime now, the only thing I want to do is to live the most, like, also like in quantity, but also in quality of experiences. And yes, I do believe that some things makes you feel a different way because of many reasons, because of what you have in your mind of how you see these things. Like whatever, if you've been raised this way, or or
or
like you were a little
society.
child, yeah, or society or whatever, and then you were, or you were a little child, and for you, you were looking up at like, I don't know, like at the basketball NBA stars, and for you, that brings you a feeling of wealth, and you're like, wow, like I would give everything to just go in a stadium and be near the NBA stars and whatever. So it's more in relation to what you have in your mind, that something will bring you more emotion. It's going to be more attached. There's going to be more value attached to it. Uh, that's such a big subject, man. Like there's so many ideas in my mind that collide right
Yeah.
now, because I feel there's so many things to talk about on this.
But I have an
And
example. I have an example about
yeah,
that in my life. So when I started working as a consultant, I felt I didn't know enough. You know, I was always pushing on the edge also what I knew, and I wanted also to take risk. And you know, I was working um, pretty soon. You know, in Quebec with directors and you know people that have 20, 25 years of experience, and I felt bad because I was like, who am I? You know, to talk on those things. And the thing I developed for myself to have a change of mindset is that I suit up. I suit up the best way I could. Like I really, you know, choose carefully, you know, the colors of my suit, my shirts, trying to buy the shirts, you know, that were a bit different with ties and everything. And every day was like, there are some people that were asking me why I was putting ties, you know, because in Quebec, like not everybody does it. But for me, it was almost like putting an armor on to go to a battlefield. It's exactly the same feeling. It was like I'm gonna suit up, put an armor on because I'm going on a battle and I need to fight. And it's funny because this feeling evolves in another way where you know after 10 you know 15 years of experience in my field, I felt that I didn't need to do that anymore. But I kind of own the I felt that I own kind of a right to dress up the way I want, where I feel the most comfortable. Not saying that I was not comfortable in a suit, but just that I wanted to be more myself, but still in a way that I liked. So I went from suiting up and being like at with to jeans, still shirts because I liked it, but you know, smart casual and sometimes t-shirt. And I didn't mind going to big meetings like that, you know, in jeans and sometimes sneakers and all that because I don't know, it's weird. It's like my mindset evolved, but I was not doing it in a you know like this thing about startup that were a bit rebellious, like oh yeah, we need to wear hoodies because Mark Zuckerberg wear hoodies. It was not at all that. It was just my personal mindset. So yeah, it's for me. This is why I ask you the question about materialistic because when you look at it, people will say yeah it's materialistic because you're attaching in a suit a value that doesn't mean it's you know doesn't change anything in you. But I think that if people like feel the need to get something to feel better, I think they should go for it and they should do it.
man, I agree 100% with you on this one. And you were talking, and this thing popped into my head. You were saying that, like, oh, I look to you like a Zen Buddha or whatever. And I just realized that something I read, I'm pretty sure it's in the Siddhartha book, which is the life of Buddha. Um, that somewhere is like, we're talking about Buddha, and we think like, oh, like he's all about non-attachment and about like living simply and everything. But what he says at some point is you cannot let go of something that you have not. So if
Break
you
my mind.
feel the need, what?
Did break my mind. Can you repeat it again?
You cannot let go of something that you have not.
Okay, got it.
So you cannot say like, oh, for me, like I let go of the riches. Let's say you never had the riches. You cannot let go of the riches before you had the riches. And life is about experience. So if you, exactly what you said, this is a personal choice. It's not, it doesn't even matter the reason why you feel the need to get some riches. Maybe it comes from a wrong place. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's your soul that inside of you want to experience the richness of life, of everything that it has to offer. And maybe you've just been brainwashed by society to try to go for a goal that is not going to bring you happiness. Who cares? If you feel inside that you need to go to the riches, it's because you need to go. That's your experience. That's what you have to experience. And then when you get it, maybe you will let go of it. Maybe your next step is going to be to let go of it, but you cannot let go of that if you didn't have it. You have to experience it. You have to see both sides to kind of be able to make your mind on it. And I think this part is a part that people don't really understand. Like they just classify something as good or bad in itself, and that it's good or bad for everyone. I don't believe in that at all. For me, what do you want? Who are you? Who do you want to be? What is your innate desire of going? The more I live, the more I believe that inside we all want richness. Mm-hmm. It just takes different form. Some people, they want richness of relationships. Some people, they want richness of material thing, like you say. Some people, they want richness of freedom. They want richness of connection to nature. But it all comes from a place of desiring to experience the richness of this life. And it just fits with what I believe we are. We're just experiencing creature. And we're here. And like a lot of people, like over time, I got sometimes the question of like, what's the purpose of us being here? What's the purpose of life? Well, my answer has never been simpler. And now I can say it and I live by it. And sometimes it just bug people's brain when I say that. And I just, what's the purpose of life? Living. There's no other purpose. The only purpose of life is to live. So live means experiencing. And there's not a good or a bad experience. There's just different experiences. So if you want to live the poorness, live the poorness. If you want to live the richness, live the richness. But what I was trying to bring at the beginning was a bit more of the how to, like how to generate abundance. And or how to generate poorness, because it is the same tool. It works in the same way. And it just starts by how you think. What do you think? What do you see? Where do you put your awareness and your focus on? It's going to generate more of it. And you can, now that you have more of it, you can put more attention on it, which is going to generate more of it, which is going to put more of your attention on it and replace the it by poorness of richness. And that's what you're going to get. It's just a wheel that's turning. And I've never felt that abundance in my life as I feel right now. And it's because I've changed the way I think 2 years ago. And I switched that to seeing the abundance around me. And I just get more and more and more and more and more and more, which I see more and more and more. So I feel abundant more and more, and I get more and more. Dude, before I left Quebec, okay, I had my car. It was neat condition. I was thinking of selling it. I wrote an ad. I put the picture. I did everything. I was selling my car for $3,000. And I needed that money to go on my trip. And then one day I had a flash. And I was like, I think my friend may need my car. while I'm gone. And I talked to my friend. I mean, it's my friend that I parked my car there for my trip. And I said, dude, I think I'm gonna give you my car. And he was like, what? I said, yeah, man, I just feel that I just feel that. I know I could get 3,000 from it, but I don't feel that I need it. I feel that my highest contribution right now would be to give you my car. So I'm going to give you my car. And I know anyway that life's going to bring me that 10 times that money or that abundance later. And he was so happy. And I was so happy. For me, it was also selfish. I wanted to give him and I gave him. Man, I received 10 times that abundance and more since that moment. And not only that, but one day my friend called me and he said, man, I want to tell you something. Today, because of all the COVID measure and shit, we don't know why, for some reason, he has two little girls that goes to school. The school bus, for some reason, decided that they won't pass at their place and that they cannot take the bus anymore. And he said, if I need to take my truck to go to work every day. If we would not have your car, my partner, my wife could not go and bring the children to school. Now she can. And we're like kind of tight right now, and we could not have bought another car. So thank you, man, because you don't understand how your gift 6 months ago arrived at the perfect moment for now in our life. And that was such a special moment for me, just because it was a confirmation of my feeling. I felt 6 months before that he would need my car. And 6 months after, life confirmed to me that I was right. And he was so happy. And I don't care about that money because it came back to me in another way. And that for me is the definition of abundance. It's feeling that you can let go of something you think you need by having faith that life's going to take care of you in another way. And it did. And that's, for me, that's real abundance. And I would take that choice again, like anytime.
I think we should finish on that note. I'm honest. It's perfect. It's perfect. So if you liked it, please share it with your friends, whether it's on YouTube or on Instagram. You can follow us at naked_podcast. You can find us on every podcast platform out there. And in the meantime, I'm going to say it. Be yourself. Live fully your life. And have fun.
Living it.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, man. That was an amazing episode. And I really like the way that I feel that all our episode is always a crescendo of not just emotion, but just like, it's all like, if you're a listener and you're here, I think you understand because you're at the end of the episode. But like, when you listen to it all the way, it's kind of, you ride a wave, and at the end, it's always powerful. I feel that. I don't know if people feel that. I feel we're like more powerful at the end, like we build something until the end of the episode. So yeah, thanks to everyone that's listening. Thanks to you, my friend. It's always a pleasure to have a discussion every week with you. And see you next week.